Okay, so uh, today, today agenda is to start the SQL. It is for SQL developer. So we are going to start the SQL server. SQL server basically the agenda of this go live is to uh, uh, the going into the details in a SQL space, and it is benefited for them who are you know doing the data analytics or automations or developer. For them, it is uh, beneficial. So let me just so here is some. I'm going to start this one. Share a screen. Okay, entire screen. I'm going to share. So okay, so the introduction. What is the DBMS? DBMS is data started with the database management system. It is actually database management system is a system where we store the data and retrieve the data easily, and we maintain the data. Before going into the depth, what is DBMS? First, we see here what we can do with what is the data. Data is something, anything which is you have. Like if I talk about here, yeah, I have something like this one. This, if I am taking this example about this seat, so I have something written over here. Maybe for someone it is someone can understand this is this all this text, and might be someone cannot be understand what is this. So it is not the means data is something where we have something, or we can take the informations from there. So data is a raw thing. Okay, and now, so when we write something, when we have gathered from somewhere, or we can say that if we noted something in on to the papers or somewhere, anywhere, to for the future reference. Meaning, if I have borrowed some 100 rupees for someone, suppose I am the Muhammad, and given I have Muhammad given 100 rupees to Ram. Okay, so I have written given to Ram, or Ram Muhammad given to Ram 100 rupees, and date for the remembrance. What I have mentioned here, date 22 February 2025. So what is this? This is now, if somebody came and see this, then he will understand. Okay, something Muhammad to Ram given 100 date. So if the persons is not related to this data, those people's, it is data, it is okay, it is a written something, it is a date here, it is a Ram here, 100 to Muhammad given. Okay, but for Muhammad, it is a record, or it is informations which is going to be referred in the future, because Ram promised him, or Ram might be promised him to give 100 rupees in the future. I need 100 rupees. I have given for my remembrance, or for my reference. I have written here this, and I can write on the copy as well. This is where I can write copy on as well. I can write some on the some sticky notes as well. But okay, but think, when it is my business to give borrows to someone, I have what I have to do. I have to write into the register. Maybe for one or two persons I can remember, but if the number is increased, the borrower is increased, then what will happen? I have to write, or I have to note it down all the reference of this business into the register or some permanent places where I can refer into the future. Okay, so this is what the data, and sometimes it becomes the informations, but I'm not going in that the basic things of that data and informations. Okay, now I am giving some basic informations, basic knowledge of the data, why we are storing and where or how we started to store the data into the database management system. So when the computer invented, we know 1942, at that time we are only using that computer for the calculations. Okay, in 1972 we started to write some shell script to fasten our task. Then in between 1975 or 1980s we have developed easy language, C language or B language, so that we can write something and we can get the output from there. So meanwhile, during that time, we also focused on the data, because till 1980s the business is expanded on the globe, and many businesses has not only the mm, expanded globally, but the customer is also have the global. So for maintaining these customers data, we required something where we can note, where can we store the data permanently, and we can retrieve the data as per the requirement. So in very 1982 or 1985 there is one applications developed called DB, that is now DB2 as of now. So database, where we have the functions to store the data and to retrieve the data. Later on, this database has some different kind of storings. You can say that storing facilities, like internally how to manage, or I can say the data is managed internally, so that the retrieval of the data can be very fast. Okay, so some database exist like NDBMS, HDBMS, hybrid database management system, or network database management system. In those hybrid and network database management system, what is happening, that their data is storing in networks, like in mode of the network, means they are storing the data like, here I can say like roll number, it is a root, then we have the one, then we have the name, like trees, in the form of trees. So the retrieval, somehow it is we are using to retrieve the data, we are use internally the program is using the binary search. Then there is some discrepancies also happened in this, or very frequent happened, that sometimes what is happening when we are getting the data from, not from the root, from the from the you know leaves of the root or leaves of the that tree, then we are getting some data which is not matching. So this network database management system slowly absolute, and it is now completely absolute, and HDBMS also. So the but before absoluting these techniques, one of the techniques has been implemented, that is RDBMS. So RDBMS is nothing but the relational database management system. In this relational database management system, data is stored, or you can say data represented into the row and column. Okay, data represented row and column. Okay, and the intersections of a row and column is called the cell. Like this is just cell where I have written the cell. Means each data in this relational database management system, each data will be represented or stored in a particular cell. Okay, and the combinations of cells horizontally and vertically, it would be the records or columns. If I am telling about this vertical, okay, this, so this is a vertical, this is a column, and the horizontal, this is a record. So the relational database management system has some rules as well, because when it is introduced, it is first word the relational, it represents that we represents that data, we store the data, and we uh, store the data in the forms of row and column. Then okay, so what will we will have the data will be stored in the form of row and column. And the other words like management means there will be the tools where we can easily retrieve and store and manipulate onto that data. And the system, it is again, it is a whole, it is showing that the command on that or this relational and management means you cannot you have to follow the systematics, or you can say that syntax rules and all, whatever the grammar, it will be provided, the relational database will be provided, you have to follow this one. So this complete relational database management system give you the commands or give you the a strong system where, or a strong functionality where you can retrieve the data or store the data. While retrieving, there is less chances of discrepancies. There is a very less chances of the you can say that the error, there is a very less chances of 0.0001% chance to error could be occurred. Another thing is that how much data we can store. So initially it was some some restrictions that we can store that data. Now it is depends on your hard disk. So no matter how much data you have, now we will see that data. So data, I'm giving some random value. Then we have the yes, so thinking. So here if you can see that every cells has the unique value. Every cell has the some values. Here you can see. Okay. So these values, one Muhammad 40 software engineer, it is nothing. You cannot understand what is this. So in this form, we cannot understand that what is this. We can say, okay, this is the number, this is the text, might be this is the name of the persons, this is 40, might be something, age, he is the positions, and it might be the company. So if the person is not working on that domain, he cannot understand what is this. But if I put some labels on that, like it is employee ID, employee name, employee is, employee designation, and employee company, then anyone who understands the English and who is literate, he can easily understand about this data, right? Here, this is data for any, for a company where he is keeping as a record of their employees. Okay, so it is easily understandable. Now, how it is being, or how the peoples who are not working into that this domain, how he can understand that this is the employee data, because we provide the label here. We provided the label of this every record. For every data we have provided this label here. Okay, this label here. So anyone can understand now, this is employee ID, this is the employee name, this is employee age, this is employee designations, or employee company. Now after providing this label, the people can understand easily. So this label is nothing but, in the database it can be understand as a column name, and this this one, this is called the column or record, you can say record. This is what, this this complete data is called the record. So whenever we say the record means, might be there is a one date columns data or cell, or group of cell data is keeping or residing in the cell or group of cell. Why I have written only one cell? In the future classes we will see that we can have table which can store one or two columns only, where we can create one or two columns. So this is all about the data and all story. But now we are going to here learn Microsoft SQL Server. What is this? Microsoft. Microsoft is the company. Microsoft is a company who developed a software to store and retrieve the data. That is called Microsoft SQL Server. Microsoft SQL Server has a different version. It is started from 2005 to till 2022, and might be 2025. In 2025, they are going to release new another version of the Microsoft SQL Server. Okay, before that we have the DB2, very robust applications or software on database management system is DB2, Oracle, and Microsoft SQL Server. Then MySQL, SQLite. There are many into the market, but the leading product of this database is Oracle. I'm writing three bigger names here: DB2, according to their market requirement. I am giving the writing here. And mm, MS SQL, Microsoft SQL. Oracle is the number one. The company of Oracle, everyone knows, or Oracle Corporation. So DB2, IBM. It is invented or in a Oracle corporations. Okay, it is product of IBM. It is product of Microsoft. I'm going to giving you some inside of the Microsoft SQL Server, because we are going to learn. So we we must know the history of the Microsoft SQL Server, how it is, how has been invented. So before, as I said in the introductions classes, in or in a 10 minutes before that, the database management system is developed, DB is developed in between the 1975 and 1980. But the DB, that DB was not very much having not the system. There is discrepancies as well. So one of the company that is called Fox Pro, it is I think it is matter of 1982 or 1983. The a small applications he has been developed where the retrieval of the data and the storing of the capacity of the storing the data is there. Now, and that Fox Pro comes after the DB3. Okay, so gradually DB3 is absolute from the market in this 1985, and Fox Pro take the lead, and people are using the. In the meanwhile, IBM also having the spreadsheet called Lotus. And at that moment, 1985, or during the 1985, Microsoft was developing the Microsoft DOS. Okay, and he was working on the Microsoft Windows. So the GUI was not there. So durations of this 1985, Fox Pro was leading applications which has the functionality to store and retrieve the data. After that, IBM has the Lotus spreadsheet where we can store like similar to Excel, where I am writing this. It look like same, the Lotus is still in the IBM company. Lotus is working as a spreadsheet. So this has been invented. People are working on this. If I go into very depth, then mainframe was there, COBOL kicks was there, data was stored and retrieved. But those applications was very costly. It is not means in the mid business or low earning business cannot afford that mainframes, because their you know their maintenance is very high. The machines mainframe was very costly, and it was not available uh, everywhere, or you can say in every organizations cannot be affordable. Now you can see the mainframe is everywhere, like ATM machines, which we are where we are withdrawing the withdraw the money. That kind of machines is backing by the mainframe. So, but for the general purpose use, I'm talking about the general purpose, not the exceptional, where we are doing research, where we have the government data, where we have the finance data, where the government is giving the investing the money to research on that. So I'm not talking for the general purpose, for the general business. General business means low or medium types of business. What is which software is there, so that we can store the data. That is a Fox Pro. Then after, Microsoft invented Sybase, and it is collaborated with the government of India, railway reservations. For the railway reservations, Very starting time, I think it was 1999, which I worked on this Sybase in 1999 or 2000, but it was invented before, and this Sybase was used by the Indian Railway government for the ticket booking, for the ticket booking, online ticket. And it was not the online booking, but from the reservation centers, we have the database where we maintained our data into the system, and that system is known Sybase. But after some times, because there is a huge data and it is very tough to manage this MySQL and a Sybase. So it was absolute from the market for the sometimes. But again, Microsoft SQL Server worked on that because Oracle also invented during the 1980s. But the Expo it has also a very good insight why it was not exposed into the 1980s, why it has gained the popularity in 1990s. It has a very unique story. I'm not going into this, but you know that you can understand that the Oracle has gained the popularity in 1990s. IBM also was invented one applications which is widely used, but it was very costly. So people are or governments are not using. Mostly the US government was using the DB2 because it is invented by the IBM, and somehow IBM were getting the donations or money from the US governments. So it was costly, very costly. It cannot be used for the general purpose. So market is in the 90s. Sorry, market was growing up for the business. We are going into the global, so we required the applications also globally, and which can be maintained, which can be maintainable, sustainable, and reliable. So these are the three captured the market quickly. But in 20s, uh, 20, 2015, after the 2015, we have the NoSQL. There is a concept of NoSQL. NoSQL means a database where we can store the data. Okay, store the data not in the year 2015, but before that. But you know, the NoSQL got the exposure when Facebook started using this, because the Facebook has the billions of users on the Facebook. So their data, retrievals of their data in a nanosecond or in a milliseconds is very tough on this relational database management system. So they have the technique used where we are saying that we are not using the NoSQL. NoSQL means the structure of data is not defined. Whatever the data you are putting, that is the structureless. Means we are not storing the data in the forms of a record or columns. Okay, it is similar. Yeah, you can say it. It the records is stored in unstructured way. Maybe the unstructured means I have this. If I am following this structure, I have to put here two and the into the name I have put. But in the no structure, NoSQL, I can put sometimes Muhammad first, then the employee ID, then software engineer, then cohort, then age. For next record, I have the Shahnawaz here 35, here DBA, here IBM, or I can say here to and IBM. So in this case, it is very tough to understand what is this. It is no structure. It is following no structure. Means data is storing in the random way. Okay. So we have the concept of uh, Hadoop, BigQueries, and nowadays we are having the different technology that Cassandra, Postgres, MongoDB. These are the specialized applications for the NoSQL. Means these are the applications managing your non-structured data into the structured representations internally. Okay, so it is complete. I mean, it is not the complete, but uh, there are some insights of the database management system. Okay, now the we are going to learn Microsoft SQL Server. Microsoft SQL Server you have to install in your system. Microsoft SQL Server. I will share the link from there. You can download and install. Installations is very easy process. Okay, because I have SQL Server in my system, so I'm not going to install again and again. But yes, what I will do, I will share the install documents or you for the installations process, and you can also visit the Microsoft's websites where you can get the installations process. So I will share both of the link, installations process and SQL servers applications. After installing that SQL server, you will get one IDE like SQL Server Management Studio, something like. This is nothing but the tools where we can see because the I will tell you. Okay, let me start. Don't recovery. Okay, so this is what. See, this is the first. This is the IDE. IDE means where we can see a database is the you can say this is the logical representations in your memory. Okay, this is the logical representations. If I said that, okay, I have the database installed in my system, but and also you have the tools as well. You can GUI, CUI tools you will be provided. Okay, but nowadays what is happening? We need some tools where we can have the graphical representation so we can understand easily. So the IDE integrated development environment is a tool where we can adhere all the functionality of that particular database, meaning we have the options whatever the functions provided by the database we can achieve through the form of menu. So first of all, when we start the database, we need to connect with that. When the connections is established, then only you can give the command. Then the commands will sorry, commands will applied. We cannot means see. This is what I will tell you. I am going to open the command prompt. This command prompt is nothing but the CUI of you can say Windows where we can retrieve. It is a form of CUI. Okay, it is a form of CUI. We cannot get any menus on the top. Okay, so whatever we have to retrieve the data, whatever we have to or we want the function, some functions I want to perform some functions, what I have to do, I have to give as a command like dir the DOS command. So what this is doing, this dir is a command which run on that this interface only. If I give this dir command here into the notepad, it cannot understand anything. It will not give you any result. Okay, it will understand that it is a text. So I want to explain here that IDE or any applications, to interact any applications, we have to first create the connections. We have to create the connections. So how we create the connections? We first connect. We connect their interface. Whatever the interface has been provided, we have to connect through the interface. One more thing. See, I have this I have this interface where I can run the what? This interface is basically the operating system interface. Okay, this is just UI for Windows applications. Character user interface for the Windows applications. So whatever the Windows applications operating system has the functions we can perform from here. Okay, and this is the GUI interface. We have the GUI interface as well. You can see this is the GUI interface. I have in my system, I have the various applications. I want to open it. So what will happen here in the GUI applications, mouse will be actively working as a agent. So through the mouse, I can open any applications which has been installed over here. Like I want to open the Microsoft PowerPoint. Okay, I can see here Microsoft PowerPoint. I will give the instructions. It will be open. So what is happening? This interface is the the platform where I am going to connect with the operating system. It has the functions in form of menu. It has the functions in form of menu. Okay, so similarly this Microsoft IDE has the interface or GUI interface where where we are going to connect with the SQL server. Now I am going back to this command prompt. Here in my system, I have the Python, I think all known. So to run the Python, I have various methods. So it said, Python said, if you write this Python onto the command prompt of your operating system, I will start the Python interface. Now, if I give the dir command, it will not understand. Why? Because I have interacted with the different applications. So in that application, dir is no more any commands. Okay, when I exit from here, because dir command is the Windows operating system command. Okay, so here it is saying that this command is not a built-in functions. So hopefully you understand this, the interface, what is the use of the interface, what is the ID. Okay, I'm going to exit from here. Sorry. Okay. Now if you give the dir command here, you can it will be interacted and give the results. Okay. So to connect with this, I am not using any command prompt here. If I give this prompt here, MS SQL server, SQL, connect with MS SQL. No, M Macros SSMS Yes, no, yes, no. It is not recognizing because MS SQL. No, it is not recognizing external internal command. You can also run from here. Okay, I have the Oracle as well here, so I can connect from this because I don't have the Oracle's ID. I work on from this CUI mode. But for the class, I have installed this Microsoft SQL Server and IDE. So the server name, as of now, my computer name is my on the name of my daughter name. Then here the authentications means whenever you are getting some restricted things, their authentications required means you are the right persons to access or not. Okay, so the restricted applications, confidential things needs the authentications. After the successful authentications, you will get the environment here. You can see this is the environment where you can see that database security server object replications always on high availability management integration services catalog. These are the options of the server SQL server. We are going to work on the database. What I have explained here, this database, okay, that the a system and applications where manage the data efficiently, okay, in very low cost maintainability. Okay, so here when we expand the database, okay, we will get some okay, I'm not. First, let me explain that when we installed first time, what you will get? You will get one master database. Okay, you will get when you will install the fresh applications, fresh server, SQL server. You will get one database called the system database master. Okay, system inside that system database you will get the master. Then you have the model MSDB and TempDB. These four database will manage your database. This is the system generated database. So when you cannot delete it in a very simple way, we can say we cannot delete it. We can retrieve some informations from here, but we cannot modify the informations onto this database. Okay, whatever the data is here into the master model or MSDB TempDB, we cannot modify. Okay, so for own purpose applications, we can create first database. Okay, so the hierarchy of that applications will be the first database, then you have to create the schema, then we have the table. So database is overall the parent directory. You can see parent directory. Schema is logical partitions of your data, and table is actual or physical representations of your data. Meaning, whatever we will store, whatever I want to store the data, it is going to be stored into the form of table. Okay, and table will be stored in a parent directory called database. You can put your own name according to your business. And a schema is the logical partitions of your tables. It is not the logical partitions of the database, but the logical partitions of your data. Meaning, if I assume that I have a one business, retail business, where we have some goods, we are selling the goods, purchasing that goods, and handling the Of course, there is a vendor, there is a customer, there is a staff. So maintaining the data in a very low, in a very low specifications, I can say, we have the three tables. Okay, three kinds of data means vendor data, customer data, and staff data. To when I am creating vendor table to maintain the data of vendor, what I am doing, I am creating the schema of the vendor so that when I am exploring the database, I can understand that this schema which is prefixed by the vendor is belongs to the vendor information. For the customer, I have the customer schema so that I can categorize that informations into the customer. So when we work on that, when we started to retrieve the data, I can easily understand these tables belong to the vendor, this table belongs to the customer. So this is the logical representation. Even though if you are not creating the schema, it is not going to be impacted anymore. But SQL Server is saying that we have, if we are the if the developer is not creating own schema, then SQL Server is providing you the one schema that called DPO. This is master schema or global schema. So if you are creating directly table, it is going to be attached with the DBO. If you have created your own schema, you can prefix this one using that. So it is the logical representation. So for the categorizations of the data, it is. Then we have the table. Like if I'm explaining in a bigger aspect, then we have the HR data, we have the finance data, we have the employee data, we have the customer data, right. Then we have the admin data, we have the IT data, right. So a schema we are categorizing, like we are categorizing the data according to the department. No, the table is the actual representations of the your data. Now this is the view. Next is the object view. View is the logical representations of your table. Logical representations, or you can say that shadow of the table. Means the view is not going to store any data physically. It is a mirror image. You can say in other words, it is a mirror image of the table. In some in other definitions, can only you can say that view is the logical representations or of the table. Logical representations of the table. View is logical representations of the table. It has only the definitions, but there is no capacity. It has no capacity to store the data in onto yourself. Okay, why we use the view? We will see later. So these are the database SQL Server object. It is called the SQL Server object. Database, schema, table, view. Then we have the sequence. Then we have the what functions, procedure. Okay, and then we have the trigger. Okay. So these are the basically SQL objects we will learn and index as well. Okay. So these are the objects we are going to learn here. Okay. Now the major focus we will have that the table. Okay. What is the table? Table is nothing but the combinations of row and column. Combinations of row and column. Okay, these combinations of row and column we create here. So whenever the column we create, column we create, then we have to say the data type of that column. Okay, what kind of data you are going to store into this column or cell. Okay, in a broader aspect, I will say the column. In the very lower specification, it is a cell. Means when I say that column, means this is combinations of the cells. Meaning this cell will represent only one kind of data. Then we have the one column. Okay, so if I say that we have the here salary. Okay, okay, I am going to create something here. Employee ID name salary. Suppose salary date. Salman dollar $600 $500 $350 $200 $750 220. Okay, salary date. Suppose salary day, not the salary date. Salary day. Second of that, third, fourth, first, two. Okay, this is what I have the something. This is what I have the data here. So if you see that this column has only the number value, right? If I keep this some different value, then it not going to represent the actual data on that. Okay, this is the name where we are putting the text. Here we have the currency. Here we have the salary day. Similarly, we have the employee gender, male, male, male. Okay, 7. I'm going to write the Sida getting dollar 440 salary date second, and it's a female. Okay, now so it is going to represent. Then I'm going to date of birth putting here 5/90/99 something 20 August 95 13 September 2000 14 July 80. Okay, and 12th November 97, 1st Jan 2000, and 22 December 2002. Okay, so this is a different data, and now I am going to have something like is paid, is salary paid, is salary paid, like this. Yes, I say true, false, 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 true, true, false. I can put the image here also. I'm saying that image 1, image 2, image 3, image 4, image 5, image 6, image 7. Okay, I can put here voice of employee, video of employee. Okay, voice, voice of 1, voice 2, voice 3, voice 4, voice 5, voice 6, voice 7. Video 1, video 2, and going on video 7. And I can put null here, null here, null here, null, and video 3. Okay. Now, this is data. Sorry. This is the data. Okay. When we going to store this data, what I have to do? First of all, I have to identify the data. Identify the data. This is what kind of data this is? This is number, right? I'm going to mark it data, mark like this. This is text. This is number, but a special category, currencies, right? It is again number. Okay. Then it is what? It is the text. It is date time. It is what? It is a true false. Boolean, right? Boolean. It is what? Image. It is a voice. And it is a video. Okay. So this is what I, in a starting way, we have identified our data. These are kind of data we have in my record. So this data, this data directly not going to be inserted into the SQL server. What I have to do, first we identify our own language. Okay, this is my own representations. Okay, SQL server is not knowing this all. What I have to do, I have to convert our data representations into the SQL server. SQL server representations. Okay, meaning if my data is in form of number, so how to store number into the SQL server means if I have the my data is in number, then SQL server is what? SQL server, how it is going to represent my number data? Okay, so SQL providing int data type, big int, okay, double float. Now you know that this int is not int. Okay, int, if I take the int, meaning I can store the data till the range of 2 bytes. Big int, this is a 4 bytes. Double 8, float 4. So what will happen in a int? We cannot store any decimal point. Meaning, if I have the data like 12.77 and my columns data type is int, then what will happen? It will only store the 12 and decimal. After the decimal, the digit will be skipped or lost. Okay, for that, to store this data, decimal type. Either you take the double or float. Okay. Any dots on this? No. Then we have the text. To represent the text, we have the char, varchar, and nvarchar. Okay. Char meaning fixed. Varchar or nvarchar, it is variable. Meaning, if you see that the name, some name is of 5 characters big, some name is of 4 characters big, some name is 7 character big. There is no fixed in the length at all. So in that case, if the text is length is not fixed, then we opt data type varchar or in varchar. Okay, varchar or in varchar. Now, next one is currency. So, data type, you can take money or you can take the number as well. Here, int, big int, and one more thing I have forget. So, what I can see, money or currency. Currency as well, I have that. Okay. Then we have the salary date. Salary date, it is number. So number will become, you can take it like here. Then again, we have the gender. You can see that this gender has only one character, male, 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 female, and I am representing with the first letter of the. Okay. So if you see that it only has the one character, so in that case, it you can take as a fixed text type character. Then we have the date. For date, we have the date here. Okay. Boolean, for the yes, no, true, false, we have the Boolean or beat. Okay. Now for the image, voice, and all, we have the long data type. Okay. So basically, we can convert into the byte. Image, you can convert into the byte, voice as well, byte, and video, you can store in the byte. Okay. So blob, clob, that is the data. So basically, this is the representations of the data, your data into the SQL server. Hopefully, it is little bit today will be the more theoretical aspect, because we need to know the basics of the SQL. So this is the database representations. Okay, the data type, and I'm going to take 30 minutes more, so then we will stop this. Okay. So now I'm going to here. I'm going to okay. Now after that, uh, we have the keys. We will discuss keys later. Mm, mm, mm. Okay. Now we will understand some commands. Okay. Now here, suppose you have this data. Okay. Here you are seeing that this is null value, right? Later on, I get the video of this persons. So what I will do, I can modify this. I can add this data later on video 4. If the voice is missing, then I can update the data with this null value or some delete. Suppose Yadav resigned my company, I can delete this data. Okay, so this kind of operations I can perform. So what are the functions I can perform? Functions performed on the DBMS. Okay, so basically these functions is categorized in a 4 category. First, DML, that is called data data manipulations language. Okay, DDL, data nations language. DCL, data control language. And TCL, that is a transactions control language. And on top of this, we have the SQL. SQL, that is a structure query language. A structure query language. Okay. In DML, what are the what are the methods we are going to use? In DML, we have the insert, update, delete. In data definitions, create, modify, drop, truncate. Data control language, grant, revoke. That is more than the authorizations and authentications. And transactions control language, rollback, commit, and sometimes save. Okay, this is what the operations mostly we are going to use here. This is what, as a SQL developer or SQL database admin, we are going to perform these operations here. Okay. Okay. So this is the what I have in the in the tomorrow class. We will start first SQL, structure query language. What is the SQL? Okay, we will start this SQL first. In this SQL, we will have the select command. Select command. Select. This is the SQL select. Sometimes in other books you can say that select is SQL, DML, it and DDL. It is the it participated in DML and DDL as well. A select command, SQL select command is also participated in DML and DDL. So that's why it is the select command is not categorized specifically. It comes under the SQL. Okay. Oh no. Uh, so today we will start. We are going to complete here only. Okay. If you have any doubts, any queries, please let me know. Thank you. Jazakallah.